What's up, guys? So today we're taking a look at a really cool set of desktop speakers, the Edifier MR4s. And the MR4s are a really nice combination of both a super stylish, like aesthetic speaker setup, combined with really good sound quality. So the Edifier MR4s, it's a dual channel speaker setup. It's built within a MDF wooden enclosure, perfect for minimizing resonance and really getting super high sound quality out of some pretty small desktop speakers. Now they do come each channel with a single dome tweeter, a 1-inch dome tweeter, as well as a 4-inch woofer, and that allows for super good high frequency recreation as well as the low end out of these speakers. Now it's not a 2.1 channel setup. You're not going to get a subwoofer with these speakers. You can't add one on to the MR4s. But I don't think you really need one. I'm coming from a setup, the Logitech Z407s, that have a subwoofer, and then they have a full range driver to recreate kind of the highs and the mids. But I'm definitely switching from the Logitech Z407s and converting full time over to the Edifier MR4s. Now, it is nice to have that subwoofer in gaming scenarios where you kind of want to feel the vibrations or some super bass heavy music, but the low ends on the MR4s don't maybe hit as low that you're not going to get the vibration out of them, but you're definitely going to get that super high sound quality from the lows and from the highs, recreating the mids. You're definitely not going to get the vibration or like the super low end bass heavy notes out of the MR4s, but they are going to reproduce like overall really high sound quality from decently low end all the way up to the highs that you might not get of just a single full range driver with like a 2.1 channel setup. So that's what we're going to kind of do in today's video. Compare the Edifier MR4s with something like the Logitech Z407 where you have that additional subwoofer channel. But before we jump into the actual comparison, kind of like what does the MR4 give you? What does the Z407 give you? And I'm choosing these two specific speaker setups because they are very close in price. So both of them are pretty much 130 bucks, sub $150 speakers that are perfect for a desktop setup. They're perfect for a media center that maybe you just have, you have a TV setup. You don't want to go out and spend money on a sound bar. You want an actual speaker setup for your media center, watching movies, watching videos, listening to music. These are some really good options for sub 150 bucks. One with the subwoofer, one without. But then it kind of comes down to, do you really care about those super low vibration kind of bass heavy situations, or are you more focused on really high sound quality throughout the entire reproduction of whatever you're watching? So that's what we'll discuss. But before we do that, we'll just jump into a quick overview of the MR4s, what they look like, how they sound, overall feature setup on the MR4s, and then we'll jump into that comparison. Let's first just see what the unboxing experience is like with the Edifier MR4 setup. So overall, once we get inside of the box, everything is very neatly packaged. And for the most part, it's just the two speakers. So the only other accessories that are really in here is more of your input cabling, your aux cords, your speaker wire to actually link up the left and the right channel speakers, and then a RCA to aux adapter cable in order to transition from the RCA inputs on the MR4 to an aux input on, let's say, a PC. So yeah, let's just unbox these things. The MR4 is like I mentioned before, an MDF, so wooden setup in terms of the actual speaker box. On the back of the right channel speaker, you actually get multiple inputs. You get the RCA input, you also get an aux input on the front, and then you get a much higher quality TRS input. So in the front of the one speaker, we get our volume knob, we also get an aux input, and then a headset output, which is super nice to have combined into the front of the speaker. And then on the other side, or the other channel speaker, all we have is the inputs for the speaker wire to connect the two together. So overall, very simple setup in order to get these things hooked up to each other and then hooked up to whatever device that is outputting the sound. So in terms of the cables, all of this is coming included. You get the speaker wire. It does a decent amount of footage as well. It's probably close to like 15-20 feet. So you can pretty much spread these things as far apart as you want them. You then get an aux to aux input in case you want to use the front aux input to connect a phone or whatever in order to output sound. And then you get that RCA to aux adapter as well. So yeah, the setup for the speaker wire, extremely simple, just a couple clamps or clips in order to lock those in, connect them on both channels, and then I'm gonna use the RCA to aux input from my PC in order to get sound to these MR4s. So now that we jump through that overview of the MR4s, what you're getting in the box, the overall input setup of the MR4s, let's jump into the sound comparison between the Logitech Z407s and the MR4s to just see which one maybe makes the most sense for your setup. So first up, we'll take a listen to the Z407s and see what that subwoofer gives you in terms of overall sound quality. And now let's jump into the MR4s to see how they compete. So yeah, I think it's pretty obvious when you listen to those two clips how these things compare. There's a lot more punch to the Z407 from Logitech compared to the Edifier MR4. So the MR4 is built on that high quality overall precision when it comes to the overall sound quality and listening experience versus mainly focusing on that really punchy low-level bass that you get with the Logitech Z407. So the Z407 setup is super nice when it comes to gaming. And if you're only going to use it for gaming, where maybe you want to feel a little bit more of the immersion of the gaming experience, Z407 is a great choice. But if you want an overall really flexible listening experience that's great for gaming, it's great for movie watching, it's great for music listening, the MR4s definitely have the Z407 beat. Just because of that, it's a lot better sound quality, it's a lot crisper. Overall, broader frequency coverage, a lot more power out of the woofer and the tweeter. You just get overall a much better listening experience with the MR4 compared to the Z407 in a wider array of use cases. So that's my 2 cents. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the Z407 versus the MR4 down in the comments below. If you have any questions, leave those down there as well. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, get subscribed to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.